Hi guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video. I am so excited for today's video because it's our fourth and final installment in the seasonal how to enjoy the seasons, romanticizing the seasons guide, or little series I guess we did on this channel, which was very unintentional. Back in the fall, as you guys know, I love fall so much. Summer and fall are definitely my two favorite seasons. I filmed this guide to enjoying fall to the fullest and romanticizing it and ways to enjoy it when you work and also on a budget. And you guys loved it so much that I ended up doing a winter one, I ended up doing a spring one, and now of course we're here for a summer one because like I said, summer is one of my favorite seasons. I want to share all the tips and tricks on how to have the best summer, romanticizing summer on a budget and also while you work. Listen to this more as a podcast episode if you want to have this on in the background while you work, or maybe on a road trip or taking a walk in the morning. I feel like summer is definitely the trickiest season to romanticize and to fully enjoy as an adult because one of the main things I say in these videos is that you have to kind of tap into what made a season magical as a kid. But as a kid, the best part of summer was your freedom from responsibilities and having no structure, which obviously as an adult is a little bit harder. I definitely think that I was able to enjoy summer a little bit more when I was working shift work, just because I kind of had that different structure compared to working maybe a 9-to-5 or more daytime shifts. Something about summer as a kid just felt endless. It felt full of wonder and excitement and novelty, and that's something I really want to tap into because there really is nothing, to me at least, that is more nostalgic and fun than thinking back on past summers. And I want to bring that energy into being an adult too. But I also want to take a second and mention that I'm speaking from a place where summer is very short-lived. I live in Canada. We had the longest winter ever this year. And our summers, for the most part, are bearable. I know there's a lot of people that live in places like the southern US and other parts of the world where summer is extremely hot. So I just want to preface by saying that a lot of these tips correlate with the fact that I can, for the most part, be outside all the time enjoying summer. Yes, we get a few days maybe where it's 95 to 100, but for the most part, our summer days are, knock on wood, quote unquote bearable. And so I think a lot of my tips do reflect that. So I just want to mention too that this is coming from a place of the weather where I live, and I know it's not going to be the same for everybody, but I only know what I know. I think too, living somewhere where we only get a few months of warm weather makes me really want to live it to the fullest a little bit more and enjoy it. I also want to share some tips and start this off for anyone who feels like summer is a season where they struggle the most with their depression and their mental health, because that is so real. I struggle the most in the winter, but in my romanticizing winter video, a lot of you guys talked about how you struggle the most with seasonal affective disorder and your mental health in the summer. And that's how I feel about winter, right? Winter to me is very triggering to my mental health and can be really overwhelming. And I view summer as light and carefree, but I know that others don't. And so I wanted to make sure that I shared some tips for those who struggle as well. And I really think that at the end of the day, it's not always about the weather. It really is a season. If you can't spend much time outside, I really do think that you can add a little whimsy to your everyday life and be able to enjoy it. And so my first tip is to create your own definition of summer. I feel like if you live somewhere where the heat is unbearable, or even if you just feel like you have to give into the social pressures of summer, that you can make your own version of what summer means to you. If you live somewhere where it's really, really hot and you can't spend much time outside during the day, lean into what you enjoy about summer. Maybe it's that the sun comes up early and you can spend some time outside before work, reading and watching a cozy summer rainstorm, trying new indoor hobbies, or having a movie night at home. And I think you can create your own definition of summer depending on what you need and what your mental health needs. Romanticizing staying inside, especially if you live somewhere really, really warm. Not every summer moment needs to be lived outside, whether that is making a fun little mocktail or a cocktail or a nice coffee and lighting a summery, I don't know, for summer I think of laundry, lighting a summer candle, playing summer ambiance, and bringing those vibes inside if the heat is really unbearable and you feel like you can't be outside. And if just going outside doesn't feel like the best for you, bring summer inside and bring those aspects of summer that you like inside. Also, if I'm looking over, it's because I'm looking at my computer. And then the next is just seeking out cold spaces. I feel like you can definitely still have fun and get out of the house in the summer. Once again, especially if you live somewhere really, really warm. Library or a coffee shop or a new antique store. I think trying to make the most of summer, even if it's exploring indoor places. Because like I said, summer doesn't have to be tied with being outside, especially if you live somewhere hot. These kind of go-to places, your little sanctuaries where you feel regulated and you feel calm, because obviously a cool space is very regulating to the system. And I think if you live somewhere where the heat is really, really bad, maybe making a mission to try every coffee shop or go to every thrift store in town can be really, really fun. Checking out every branch of your library if you live in a big town. Those are just some of my tips if you struggle with your mental health in the summer, and I wanted to make sure I started off with that. A reminder that it's okay if your summer doesn't look like beach days or going to a music festival or going to an amusement park or spending lots of time outside. I really think that romanticizing the seasons is all about noticing the small joys in that season, and that could be a good book, drinking coffee on your porch first thing in the morning, the smell of sunscreen. It really is whatever you make of it. And without further ado, let's jump into all of the extra tips, I guess we'll say. First tip is tapping into the magic of summer as a kid. I kind of talked about this in the intro, but I think that sometimes the best way to enjoy a season is to return to the things that kind of made it so fun as a kid. No responsibilities and school being out, and it's a bit harder because, you know, we work, we gotta make money, we gotta make a living, but I think there's little ways to include that like magic, whimsy of summer as a kid into your everyday life. So I want you to ask yourself, like, what made summer fun as a kid? Was it sitting on your front porch and eating a popsicle? Was it running through a sprinkler? Was it staying up late and watching movies? Remember what made you love summer as a kid and just make more time for that. I think the really cool thing about it too is we're all gonna have a different experience. One thing for us is once every summer, or maybe a few more times if my dad wasn't home, we would have ice cream for dinner, and that's like one of my fondest childhood memories. And so Matt and I are gonna start the tradition of having ice cream for dinner, you know, once a month or something. I feel like you really just need to let your inner child guide you. You know, don't be embarrassed of it. Go buy some sidewalk chalk, and if that makes you happy, chalk up your driveway. Even the smallest outings, like maybe getting a slushie in the evening or going to watch fireworks somewhere, just feels so magical and memorable. Maybe go chase a sunset, go for a sunset drive, make s'mores, and just really tap into what made summer fun as a kid. Kind of going with the first one, which is making room for unstructured time. Whether it's one weekend morning a month or one evening a week, make room for no plans and just see where the summer day or the summer evening takes you. I think that's one of my favorite things about summer as a teenager, was just getting in a car with my friends and seeing where the day takes us. And who's to say you can't keep doing that now? Like, I don't know, like to me, if I had no plans today, I'd probably want to go check out a new coffee shop and go for a walk along the water, maybe go for a swim in the river, maybe go to the library, have a sandwich outside, take a nap in my backyard in the hammock, and just let myself wander and see where the day takes you. And obviously with working, it can be a little bit more difficult, but maybe you take one day off a month, or maybe you take off like a Friday afternoon once a month and just let yourself do whatever you want to do. Next, I say this in every video, but setting the scene. I think this is so important, setting the ambiance, maybe getting yourself a summer candle. When I think of summer, I mean, I do think of citronella, but I think of laundry and fresh scents and fruity scents. I also love twinkle lights. We recently just moved our twinkle lights from the backyard to the front porch, and it just adds the coziest little vibe in the evening. Maybe doing a patio refresh. Like I said, these tips can be as budget friendly as you make them, but maybe you set yourself a challenge to, hey, I want to give my patio a refresh on a $200 budget, and maybe, you know, adding some twinkle lights, adding some pots and some flowers, and maybe an outdoor rug and a cozy blanket. Or maybe you've been saving up to get an egg chair or a patio set and you finally decide to go for it. Summer playlists are also great for setting the scene, and nothing to me is better than a good summer oldies like throwback playlist. When we had our neighbors over for dinner last weekend, we kind of sat outside while we were waiting for everyone to come over, and I played a summer oldies mix that just had like good songs like September and Brown Eyed Girl and Uptown Girl. And I had so much fun just dancing on the back porch with a glass of wine and just like letting loose, and it was so much fun. So I'll link down below and I'll put on the screen some of my favorite summer playlists on Spotify. Something I am learning, and it's something I'm trying to be better about, is stop saving the good moments for the weekends. If you want to do something, just do it. The moment is here now. I feel like I'm always saving everything for the weekend, and then the weekend comes and I'm so overwhelmed with how much I want to do that I never end up doing any of it. For example, this week I went to the beach at lunch just because I could, and it was so much fun. I'm trying to tell myself I'd rather do something a bit tired than not do it at all. When I used to work shift work and work mainly evenings, I would go to the beach like for an hour before I went to work. I think joy should be allowed whenever. You don't have to save joy for the weekend. You don't have to earn joy for the weekend. I think that because summer has longer days, that weeknights deserve to hold some magic in them too. And I don't know, life's too short to keep putting joy on hold. So, you know, go to the beach after work, or try a new restaurant on a freaking Tuesday, or go to a brewery. Or I think something that helps for me too, because we do live close to the water, and I recognize that not everyone lives close to the beach or swimmable water or bodies of water, but I have started keeping a beach bag in my car so that I kind of have no excuses. Like when I finish work, we're a 10-15 minute drive from the beach. My beach bag is in my car and I'm just like ready to go. No excuses. You can stay for 20-30 minutes if you want, you know, you can just go bring a snack, like come home for dinner. And I really think that letting weeknights hold magic. Next is making your own seasonal rituals, and just that idea of turning ordinary moments into things you look forward to. So every Friday night you go get ice cream. I know we just talked about, you know, not saving everything for the weekend, but Matt and I love Friday nights going to walk up to our local ice cream truck and getting ice cream. Wednesdays after work midweek, you go to a coffee shop, or maybe Wednesdays are your work from home day and you go get a coffee from your favorite coffee shop and you go browse the library, or you go sit at your coffee shop in the afternoon and you finish your work day, and then after work you read for a little bit at the coffee shop. Maybe Saturday morning you have a solo morning and you get a nice coffee and you go to the farmer's market, and just turning those little things into a seasonal ritual to look forward to. Matt and I always do Wine Wednesdays and get hot dogs from the local chip truck, and just I think having those little things to look forward to throughout the week, especially something midweek, makes it really, really fun. Next is leaning into seasonal food and drink, which is a tip I share every season, and I think it is just so true, and it's like one of the best ways to really romanticize the seasons. Summer is so fun because so much is in season, whether it's strawberries, blueberries, vegetables, whether you plant them or you go to a farm to pick them up. So many ways to make summer fun with drinks. I recently made a banana bread coffee syrup, so I enjoy that in my iced coffee. Smoothies this time of year, so fun. So many different colors and ways that you can make smoothies, especially now with TikTok. There's so many recipes out there. Maybe thrifting some fun cocktail glasses and making some new cocktails. Matt and I love seasonal cocktails. Right now we're really into the Hugo Spritz because it's very light and fresh and airy. Fun ways to stay hydrated, maybe adding some lemon and some cucumbers to your water, or finding some yummy summer electrolytes, and just really leaning into the season via food and drink. Next one is one of my favorite tips, which is making time for mini adventures. You guys know I'm a sucker for a road trip. There's so many that we still want to explore. We've never been to Prince Edward County. We really want to go to Westport, and I love the idea of a day trip because once again, it's as affordable as you make it. Maybe you're a big foodie, so you go out for a nice dinner, but we're the kind of people where we just need like a coffee, a sandwich for lunch, and we're good to walk around. A lot of the small towns in the Ottawa area or around Ottawa, Kingston, Gananoque, Montreal, they're all around water, which makes it the perfect summer adventure. We did Kingston last summer for my birthday, and it was just like the perfect way to spend a summer day. Give yourself a day to have no chores, no errands to run, and just do something fun. Go to a pool, go to the beach. We have a water park here in Ottawa. Wandering a town like it's a new world and taking it in. Going to a carnival, playing mini golf. Maybe going to a drive-in movie, finding some fireworks near you. I just think that making time for little adventures is so fun, especially with the longer days. Like, you really just have no reason not to. There's always this one piece of hair that falls from the blowout quicker than all the other ones. And then I gotta try and hide it. Get back there. Okay, that's better. Next is capturing the season. I vividly remember growing up and my mom had that big roll of like brown paper and she ripped it off, and I think this is why I love making seasonal bucket lists so much, because as a kid we would have seasonal bucket lists and she would put it up in the kitchen, and this thing was huge. And we would all three siblings sit down and make a bucket list and find just like little ways to enjoy the season, which is really where I get my love of little things from. I think it's from my mom. Maybe even getting some disposable cameras. I think it's so fun. We did a disposable camera last year for our birthday since they fall on the same week. It was just like a little bit extra fun to have a camera and take photos and get them printed. There's something about summer and nostalgia that a film camera really just fits in, and they have so many affordable cameras now that you can get instead of getting the plastic ones if you don't want to. We've used them before and they're fine, but I know that they have the Kodak Ektar, the 35mm Co makes one. You don't have to invest in these like fancy film cameras. They make really great, almost like disposable style cameras that aren't disposable, so they're a little bit better for the environment. And also, if you don't want to do that, there's so many great apps nowadays like Teza and some other, you know, film apps where you can turn your photos into that more film style to maybe post on Instagram. And summer journaling, maybe a scrapbook. Starting a junk journal I feel like would be so fun in the summer just because I feel like you get out and do things more often. So that could be really fun too if you've been wanting to start a junk journal. Making a list of little joys is also really fun, even if it's just on your notes app. Just writing down all the little moments that make you happy. And then when you're kind of having a bad day or you're looking for something to look forward to, you can read through this list of little joys and realize that there is joy in all of those little everyday moments, whether it's going for an evening walk when there's a nice breeze or enjoying a popsicle, getting into bed. There's nothing better than getting into bed on a summer evening where it's a little bit cooler out and the fan is blowing and your sheets are crisp and cool. You've just had a shower. Maybe you've applied after sun lotion that smells like sunscreen. Like that is just one of the little joys in life. Watching a comfort movie like The Parent Trap, and just finding little things to look forward to when you're kind of struggling to enjoy the season. Not everyone has access to a backyard, but the really great thing about gardening or even having an herb garden, planting veggies, is you don't need a lot of space to do it, and you can even do it inside if you don't have any like patio space or a balcony. Herbs and veggies are so low maintenance. They grow really well in containers, so no matter how big your yard is or whether you have a patio, this piece of hair is coming back with a vengeance. They're really suitable for like every, I guess, like living situation. Maybe thrifting for some secondhand pots. I really want to do that. Repurposing a teacup where you basically turn it on its side and then you turn it into a bird feeder. I love the idea of making watering plants a ritual, and we've actually done that in our house. We've made it like an evening ritual where we leave the dogs inside and Matt and I go outside and Matt waters his grass seed and I water my flowers and my plants, and it's just something that we look forward to every single evening. I also love in the morning with my coffee and just like having my bare feet in the grass. There's nothing like it. Watering my plants, checking in on my plants, and really viewing gardening and even just like watering my plants as like a small pause in my day. You can also really grow a lot of things like green onions, romaine, and herbs from leftovers in a jar of water. So it's really fun, it's really easy, and it's really budget friendly. And I think that's one of the things that's made me really love summer just that much more, is gardening and kind of starting to have a little bit of a green thumb, although I do kill a lot of things, but I'm getting there. Next is a simple one, and it's really just like wearing bright colors, wearing fun clothes, wearing summer things. I think this is such a fun time of year to go thrifting for outfits too, and kind of getting things that might be a little bit out of your comfort zone. Even going into work, it's a great time of year to wear linen pants and flowy dresses. And obviously I can't wear perfume going into the hospital, but maybe wearing a more summery perfume and channeling summer even in office attire. I love going to work in dresses in the summer. It just feels so fun. Letting your self-care shift with the seasons is a really big one, I find. And I love creating kind of like a seasonal scent memory. So something that really brings you to that season. For me, it's like the smell of sunscreen. I love the Vacation products. They make a perfume that I have gone through 2 bottles of because I just like love the smell of like coconutty sunscreen, whether it's, you know, lotion, or even it can be simple as a candle, perfume, something that you just wear in the summer that kind of brings back that scent, I think is so much fun and just kind of bringing you back to past memories. Maybe a perfume that you wore in high school and it just brings you back to like really nostalgic, fun summer memories as a teen. With summer, I think of lighter skincare and, you know, fun fruity body washes, little changes that kind of make a new season and really let you have those self-care rituals. And I think self-care is important no matter the season, but shifting it with the seasons can be really, really fun. Just like little rituals, like there's nothing better than finishing a beach day, having a shower, and then putting on like a summer lotion. That is like the best. Maybe a little eye patch in the morning with your coffee outside on the porch. And for me, I really like to tap into those like coconutty summer sunscreen smells, but for you, it can be whatever honestly you're into. I also love the idea of having like a summer sleepover, even with your significant other. I was saying to Matt that it can be so fun to like bring the mattress downstairs in the living living room and like have a summer movie night and have popcorn and s'mores and kind of like just sleep in the living room and just like have a little summer sleepover, or maybe having a sleepover with some of your girlfriends. That could be so fun. Having themed dinner parties. I feel like there's so many fun themes out there. I just love summer for all the colorful table linens and tablescapes, and I love the idea of throwing like a summer party once a month. I'm trying to think of what else. Camping in your backyard could be so much fun. Although the older I get, the more I do love a good mattress. I love to share some TV shows and books that kind of really help me romanticize the season, because I think that is one of the biggest ways that you can really like dive into a season and fully embrace it and fully enjoy it and find inspiration, is things like TV shows, movies, and books. And let me tell you, this is the perfect season to judge a book by its cover, okay? So many bookstores, I know that Indigo does, that's like our chain in Canada, they always have a fun like summer reading like section when you walk into the store, or even just going to the library. I think that's a great place to go too, because then if you don't love a book, you didn't like commit and buy it, putting on a summer playlist, putting on an audiobook, and going and walking around the library, especially in the romance section, and maybe just like judging a book by its cover and picking it up and seeing if you love it. There's so many great summer romance books out there, or thrillers too, like whatever genre you love. I can put on the screen some books that are on my summer TBR this year. I definitely think you can't go wrong with anything. And I was gonna share some books, but I feel like everyone recommends the same summer books, and I didn't really have any that were super different. If you want, there's so many great summer book recommendations on TikTok, but I highly recommend go judge a book by its cover, whether it's at your local library, maybe you have a gift card for a bookstore, you go to a used bookstore, an indie bookstore, just go judge a book by its cover and pick up a fun summer read for the beach, because even if it's not the greatest, it's gonna be a little cheesy and it's gonna be summery and it's gonna be fun. So like, you really can't go wrong. Okay, let's end this off with some TV shows and some movies that really like set the tone for summer for me, and we're just gonna like rapid fire through them. The Summer I Turned Pretty, Outer Banks, Heartstopper, Looking for Alaska, Dawson's Creek, Laguna Beach, 90210, H2O, Surviving Summer, The OC, and The Buccaneers honestly gives me summer energy too. Spring summer energy, if you will. And then for movies, I just feel like there's so many good nostalgic ones. The Parent Trap, Aquamarine, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, 50 First Dates, The Kissing Booth, Palm Springs, Jaws, Free Willy, Teen Beach Movie, Mamma Mia, Soul Surfer, Dolphin Tales, Grown Ups, Luca, Mystic Pizza, The Sandlot, Sister of the Traveling Pants, Camp Rock, Wet Hot American Summer, that's a good one. Cheaper by the Dozen too, that is one of my all-time favorites. I Know What You Did Last Summer, Adventureland. Oh my gosh, there's so many good summer movies. Reese, National Lampoon's Vacation, 500 Days of Summer, Blue Crush, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Hot Summer Nights. Jurassic Park also gives me summer energy. Of course, we have to save the absolute best movie for last, which is Lilo and Stitch. Well, those are all the summer movies I could think of off the top of my head. There's truly so many. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this kind of helped you find some little ways to romanticize summer and find some little joys to look forward to, even as adults. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.